Man, the 5 old guys at the top of the world finally track down the location of Vegapunk's transmission snail, and Sanji, the most stubborn cook on the planet, jumps right back into the chaos to try his luck against Noosjuro for the second time. The guy literally looked at the sky and thought, God, just give me one more try this time, it's gonna work. In the previous episode, the Straw Hats turned Saturn into a real demonic yo-yo just to protect Robin, while Vegapunk out of nowhere dropped the biggest historical bomb in the anime, revealing that there's an ancient war that never ever ended. Meanwhile, at the Labo Stratum, Edison, who looks like a coffee machine running out of battery, calls Stussy and says drop the dome and run before everyone turns into dust, but she all emotional says she want to leave the crew while they still in danger. Edison tries to argue that no barrier works since the Gorosei pass through everything like Kondo ghosts. Mars is smashing communication snails like Trakinus cookies, and Edison is already in the mode, well, I did what I could, now it's up to them. Stussy starts getting sentimental, saying she was afraid of disappointing Vegapunk, and Edison goes for the classic for God's sake woman, run before I reformat your DNA. But she starts philosophizing like it's the end of Evangeline without Stella, who do I live for now? And then comes the emotional plot twist. She asks him to release Kaku. Edison and Kaku are like, what? And she explains she doesn't want to see the guy paying for her mistakes. Edison realizes he may have been too hard on her, apologizes, and admits she built real bombs with her former CPO partners. Meanwhile, Jinbe's in bolt mode running with Zoro on his back. Nami is yelling over the communicator, where are you guys? And Zoro replies, all calm, we're on our way, which obviously sends Nami into Super Saiyan rage mode. She sees the Navy ships closing in and shouts, if you lose the ship, my lines never talk to you again. Meanwhile, Alice is carrying Vegapunk's body onto the Sunny. In the arena, Sanji is literally on fire, charging at Noosjuro with a kick so strong you could light a cigarette with the impact, but the Gorosei blocks with his black sword and slams Sanji to the ground with the force of a truck down a hill. The giants try to help. One grabs the skeleton horse's tail, the other tries a coordinated strike, and Bonney comes flying and trying to hit the beast from another angle, but Noosjuro blocks everything with his hand, pushes them away, and even kicks a third giant. Then he draws his black sword in midair, ready to turn Bonney into sashimi, but Frankie comes flying and tackles her and saves the day. The girl is totally worn out, no strength left to keep her transformation. Frankie realizes she burned all her energy on the distorted future. Noosjuro decides he's wasted enough time on these mere insects and flies up, going straight for the real target, Vegapunk's transmission snail. And that's when the scientist drops the second bomb of the day. The Void Century ended with the defeat of Joy Boy. The images show the Iron Giant and Zunisha full of sadness, like they've already seen the end of One Piece before us. While Noosjuro slices a cloud in half with one blow, Vegapunk begins to explain the true collapse of the ancient world. He says the disaster that wiped out continents was caused by an advanced civilization that was literally swallowed by the ocean. The whole planet starts reacting. Revolutionaries drop their jaws, Marines nearly faint, and even people from small villages like Kokoyashi are in shock. Vegapunk reveals that the sea level rose by 200 meters in just 1 century. 200 meters. The Marines short circuit weight our ships are 60 meters tall. How could everything be swallowed? And then they realize what Vegapunk meant. The current islands are just fragments of what's left of the old world. In other parts of the world, people start laughing, calling Vegapunk a liar. Dalton in the Sokola Kingdom questions if that's even possible, and Dr. Korea, who has lived longer than Oda, laughs, saying this world never stops being fun. Vegapunk then explains the disaster wasn't natural, it was caused by ancient weapons created by humans themselves. Morgan yells that it's alive. Vivi shuts his beak, and the whole planet panics. The scientist states that the same power still exists, the same one that destroyed the kingdom of Luluzia using the energy of the mother flame, meaning the world could sink again. Cut to Imu with those evil red eyes staring at the portrait of Nefertari, Lily, and yes, my friends, the creature has been obsessed with her for centuries, the oldest stalker in history. Vegapunk remorseful apologizes to humanity. He admits the fragment of the mother flame was stolen and used as fuel for destruction. The man falls to his knees confessing that unintentionally he became an accomplice to global genocide. The entire world is in shock. Revolutionaries, kings, everyone, even Momonosuke tries to comment about Pluton, and Crocodile shows up reminding everyone that was always his goal. Vegapunk connects everything, saying the ancient weapons were Joy Boy's legacy for future generations, including Poseidon, who is Princess Shirahoshi. He wonders if Joy Boy wanted to destroy or save the world, but believes the answer will come with time. Meanwhile, Sengoku is stuffing himself with cookies, and Suru has to remind the old man to breathe because he is so shocked he forgot how. And then comes the final warning. Vegapunk says that all nations of the world must prepare because the danger of a new sunken world could happen at any time, regardless of side nation or flag. And two, close it all with a golden key. Vegapunk reveals that there is a group who knows the full truth about the Void Century. The Roger Pirates Akainu is literally steaming with rage. The Marines are stunned, and at the lighthouse of Krogus, who was part of Roger's crew, just watches the sea in silence with that look of someone who has known the ending for decades. But it doesn't stop there. York, one of Vegapunk's satellites, is losing her mind because he knew everything. Even without synchronizing memories with her, she tries to warn the Gorosei that the transmission snail is protected by the Iron Giant, and the old guys are already heading up to solve it with pure chaos. Meanwhile, in Sabaody really is completely drunk, complaining that Vegapunk is ruining the fun, saying, now it's the new generation's turn to seek the truth, and in the end comes the message that melts everyone's brain. Joy Boy never wanted to destroy the world, he was trying to prepare the future to survive, and that's how episode 1149 of One Piece ends, leaving the entire world in chaos. Vegapunk's words echoing across every sea, the Gorosei preparing for war, and the Straw Hats caught right in the middle of the storm. The secrets of the Void Century are finally starting to surface, and every island, every kingdom, and every pirate crew now knows the truth is closer than ever. But at what cost? The ancient weapons, the Mother Flame, the fall of Joy Boy, it all leads to one thing: the final era of One Piece has already begun, so get ready because what's coming next will shake the world to its core. This was episode 1149, and if you thought this one was crazy, the next one is gonna not blow your mind. The secret of Joy Boy is finally revealed when Vegapunk announces that he was the first pirate to confront the world government. The ancient war that sank continents is still ongoing today, and we learned that the planet has risen to 100 meters in a century. Watch until the end to see Doflamingo calculating his survival strategy in Impel Down. Last time in One Piece, Sanji kicked an elder who bled. Vegapunk broadcast his message on global television, and Mars discovered something impossible inside Punk Records. At Marine headquarters, they hear Vegapunk drop the doomsday bomb, wondering if this genius realizes he just told billions they are drowning pirates in Mock Town. Burst into laughter, calling Vegapunk a clown seeking attention. They think planetary sinking sounds like drunken talk the people of Water 7 take it more seriously, fighting floods every year. But even Polly thinks there's a difference between the Aqua Laguna season and the entire planet becoming an ocean. Cut to Impel Down, where Doflamingo makes his return. The guy is laughing as if he won the lottery while locked in a maximum security prison. He starts provoking Magellan, asking how the poison expert plans to stop seawater from turning level 6 into an aquarium. Magellan realizes the psychopath has a 0.1 meter of elevation already ruined their lower cells. Doflamingo calculates that 5 meters would sink most cities. Before suggesting evacuation upward, this fallen celestial dragon who flew with string powers suddenly talks about going higher. He is definitely thinking about Sky Islands. You retelling me this guy has been planning his prison escape fire apocalypse. That's next level scheming. Down in Fishman Island, Princess Shirahoshi asks her father if it is real. Even King Neptune, the guy who lives underwater, finds it hard to believe. Back on Egghead, the Marines surrounding the island cannot dismiss it coming from the world's smartest man, but Vice Admiral Hound calls it delusion anyway. The 5 elders are disturbed, realizing they've gone from controlling broadcast damage to planning the genocide of every person Mars can detect. York paces around Lobo Stratum, annoyed by his creator's speech. Vegapunk, even dead, makes a prediction. Century data indicate a massive earthquake will hit the planet days after the recording. The citizens of Alabasta are shocked on Whole Cake Island. Smoothie is astonished because They felt this earthquake today, meaning the already deceased Vegapunk predicted the future. He adds sea levels will rise 1 meter, sweeping away islands and coastlines. People dealing with the current crisis panic. Tangent listens as Vegapunk says, "Ignore me if I'm wrong." In Hatchosu, it sounds ominous. Cues and listens with a stern face since the predictions came true. Stella demands full attention to what comes next. What's scarier than a scientist predicting earthquakes? A dead scientist whose predictions keep coming true. The Straw Hats battles Saturn while Vegapunk reveals the earthquake was not natural. Everyone charges at Saturn with Lilith posing while Chopper looks like he has seen better days. Saturn enrages, demanding the broadcast be stopped. Stella admits she naively wanted world peace. Robin catches falling crewmates with hand nets. Saturn uses Chopper as a springboard, targeting something specific. Vegapunk says this desire caused his first since Saturn asks Mars about the power plant. Mars replies he has taken care of it while preserving the room's contents while Saturn smashes walls at incredible speed. Stella wanted unlimited clean energy for climate control and food production. Worldwide, Saturn shields his eyes, and we finally see the mother flame glowing with power. Vegapunk compares himself to Icarus flying too close to the sun. Saturn returns to human form and crushes everything with his cane. The elders decide to kill all living beings on the island. While the mother flame continues pulsing elsewhere, this scientist really built doomsday fuel and then was like, oops, I am kind of a tragic Greek hero, setting an example. 0 warning signs. Right, the Marines continue failing to damage the ancient walking robot. Luffy reactivates Gear 5. Dory and Froggy hate the spreading fire. Vegapunk says understanding the future requires examining 900 to 800 years ago, the period everyone calls the Void Century. You observes as the celestial dragons rage at the Marines' failure to cut the broadcast. Vegapunk names it the Void Century. Although our records were destroyed, one thing allows modern people to unlock secrets. The celestial nobles want to punish him personally. Saint Shaluya seems confused, asking what the Void Century means. The world nobles don't know about the Void Century, explaining why they constantly make terrible decisions. A giant sits alone in the forest. While Vegapunk mentions poneglyphs, ancient stones scattered worldwide with decodable inscriptions revealing lost history. In Orangetown, a child tells Boodle that 20 kings created modern civilization, asking if Vegapunk knows more. Boodle hesitates, even joking maybe Chow Chow, the dog, knows. The dogs also listen. Vegapunk reminds everyone that reading poneglyphs is prohibited by the world government, making this his second major crime, betraying authority to study the forbidden century Stella inherited. O'Hara as documents without naming them, specifically allowing him to decode poneglyphs without regrets, since history is just history. After all, the Straw Hats notice the ground moving. Nami sees clouds stretching. Brook tells Usopp this might be Edison S plan. Usopp confirms the repositioning of clouds let them explode directly into the ocean thanks to Edison's sacrifice, but he has badly injured, hoping the Straw Hats escape. World government capture. Vegapunk says he only knows a fraction of the century-old history, so instead of speculating, he will stick to confirmed facts, which means everything that follows is indisputable. Froggy desperately yells at Luffy to stop. Vegapunk identifies the main character of the ancient story. Luffy insists on punching the giant boar demon. Confident his next attack will work, Vegapunk describes a man born in an advanced kingdom 9 centuries ago who, like Nod, the sun god of Elbaf, was called Joy Boy. Luffy's fist ignites again. His giant friends laugh despite the danger, definitely matching the power it represents. Hopefully, Luffy is building resistance to the Elders' defenses through repetition. Looking upward with nostalgia, Vegapunk declares Joy Boy was the first sailor. The original pirate. Every Jolly Roger in history traces back to this single man whom the government has demonized for centuries. In Wano in the Flower capital, the Straw Hat flag hangs beneath the Shogun's house. Despite isolation, they listen via Den Mushi found among Orochi's belongings. After announcing that Joy Boy pioneered piracy, Vegapunk explains how it happened. Momonosuke and Tama eat dango with Kinmen Shinobu and the samurai. Momo is fascinated that Joy Boy was like Luffy. As a pirate, Kinmen is intrigued that the Shogun knew the ancient figure. We jump to the detention of Marine G for Where That lunatic pretending to be Luffy now poses as Eustace Kid. After his defeat, his fake henchmen are unfazed by the news about Joy Boy. Confident their captain easily defeats the ancient pirate. Demolo agrees since the guy is dead. The fake crew admires their leader's confidence, only rivaled by his appetite. The serial imposter cheerfully claims to be 1,000,000 times stronger than this toy. Joy Marines in Egghead are left jaw dropped. Vegapunk clarifies conclusions from limited access to poneglyphs, however the history they pieced together shows a massive war centuries ago. He adds Joy Boy fought a specific enemy, the organization now called the World Government. The Marines are even more stunned, realizing which side they are on makes sense since Joy Boy was labeled a pirate. The historical war erupts as Luffy and the Giants charge, shouting Vegapunk's name. The Doctor says the historical World Government was the Allied Powers, 20 temporarily united kingdoms. Elsewhere, Mars is not the only enraged elder. He tears through areas, knocking out every nearby Den Mushi with conquerors. Hockey Vegapunk continues, he theorized that such an alliance was the only way to counter Joy Boy's powerful faction. The visuals show a Gear 5-like figure leaping over multiple kings. Unfortunately, Vegapunk doesn't know what started the conflict, so he won't morally judge either side. He only confirms that opposing ideologies clashed. Stella reflects on Joy Boy starting a civilization beyond imagination. Zunisha, who knew Joy Boy, falls silent, reflecting. Vegapunk says the place was so technologically advanced, unbelievable. For over 9 centuries ago, the Minks of Zoo gather, hearing that weapons from this century-long war surpass modern science, and that Vegapunk technology already exceeds current tech by centuries. The new Mink leader is amazed, while the musketeers remain silent. Foxy clucks from his ship, missing the Jolly Roger Luffy created. Only the ship's bow apparently survived. He calls Vegapunk delusional, even labeling the scientist punitive, which triggers Hungry. Richie Foxy corrects himself and simply says the guy has a big head, making Hamburg laugh. Vegapunk admits that ancient innovations even left his genius perplexed, and these innovations formed the basis of the problem here. As what you might have missed, Joy Boy being the first pirate means every Jolly Roger in history continues his fight against the world government. The Allied powers were not heroes, they were 20 kingdoms united specifically to crush Joy Boy's side. Doflamingo talking about going upward gives a hint. The ocean rising 200 meters in a century is naturally impossible, so ancient weapons caused it. These weapons still exist. And you just used one on the moon, proving Vegapunk was right. The war never stopped. Everyone lived in a ceasefire, unaware of who their opponents were. I am saying now Vegapunk's next revelation will explain what Joy Boy's kingdom wanted and why 20 kingdoms feared it enough to unite, and it will tie directly to the One Piece treasure. This is the episode if seeing Vegapunk reveal Joy Boy's identity and show that the war never ended while Doflamingo plots his escape. Got you hyped? Subscribe and tell me which revelation blew your mind more, Joy Boy being the first pirate or the planet jumping 200 meters? Throw your theories, because this changes everything.